Starburns Audio.
Coming to you live from our houses in Los Angeles, California, it's Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, your comedy field guide to life. Tonight, we hit the high seas, and I ain't talking opera. I'm talking about Paula Poundstone pursuing a career as a bosun. Could she be a bosun? Does being in a book club that reads Moby Dick qualify her to be a bosun? Does she have to like boats to be a bosun? Also, what's a bosun? Celebrity bosun Eddie Lucas from Bravo's Below Deck joins us for a very special career corner. Can you feel the excitement? That's our producer and Below Deck superfan Toni Anita Hull trembling. Steady as she goes, Toni, steady as she goes. Plus, you know something? Well, you're about to. It's the return of our Potluck Info Party. We're going to drop some knowledge and you get to pick it up before the dog makes off with it. I'm Adam Felber, the man who expertly navigates this conversational ship through the rough seas of distraction, trying to steer clear of the rocky shoals of inanity and guide us into the safe harbor of clarity. And now, please welcome the woman who never fails to warble her digressive siren song and run us smack into the metaphorical iceberg of irrelevance. It's Paula Poundstone!
Hey, you guys!
Paula Poundstone!
Hey, you guys, how are you? So nice to be back with you, sort of. Hey, Adam, and thanks to tonight's house band, Gabe Terracciano on the violin from New York City. That's a big city. He has a new album out called 3-Part Invention that can be found on Bandcamp and all major streaming platforms.
Yay, thank you, Gabe.
Yeah,
Give it up for Gabe. Paula Poundstone, what's new?
You know what? I was eating a brownie bite the other day. I was specifically eating it on the right side of my mouth. And I come across what appears to be a piece of plastic in the brownie bite.
Oh.
And once again, I work it towards the front of my mouth. I take it out, and I realize it's a crown. Not the queen kind.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is the second time this has happened. What's funny is when I saw it, I was like, damn it, there's a piece of plastic in my brownie bite. That's disgusting. And someone had given these to me. And I'm like, well, no wonder they gave them to me. There's plastic in them. Right away, the litigious side of me came up. I'm like, I'm going to sue this shit. Not out of the person who gave them to me, but out of the company that makes them. And that's when I realized, oh, no, because this happened once before with a Heath bar. But this time, I didn't even bite it with that part of my mouth at all. So I go to the dentist and, the guy takes a look. They do this stuff that they do. It's gross. And then he asks me like a couple questions about, how this happened and when it happened. And he looks at my chart and he says to me, we had a bunch of people come in with this same problem that had their crown glued in at about that same time. And he said, if it falls off again, come back and we'll start all over again. He goes, I think we got some bad glue. So they
Oh my God. Wait, was this the same crown from last time?
Yeah.
Oh, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, okay, but my favorite part of the whole thing is that at one point, he says, I don't know, he's just doing his thing. It's not like we're talking. My mouth is open. His hands are in my mouth. And he says, thank you for staying open. Yikes. And I realized it was Dr. DeSoto from the William Steig children's book. Remember the mouse that was a dentist, and he and his wife worked in the dentist's office, and they were mice, and his name was Dr. DeSoto, and a fox with a tooth problem came to them at one time.
Oh.
And, the mouse would have to go like entirely in. And that's when I realized my dentist is a mouse. I never had noticed before. Once they put the white jacket on, I'm just so impressed that I don't even think it might be a rodent.
Right. I think you would have noticed earlier. I would think you would have noticed a mouse.
I didn't. No, I never did. Never did. Yeah, it's weird.
Speaking of mice, I just want to let everybody know that our exciting new contest, The Longest Cat, has officially closed. So thank you for staying closed. And we will be drawing a name from that old hat and announcing a winner next week. This is pretty exciting. Somebody's going to win a Zoom party with themselves and me and Paula and 50 of their closest friends. It's going to be fantastic.
Woo.
I'm having root beer floats. I'm having more than one because we'll be separated, and so I'll have to have the root beer floats for everyone. And, probably some Doritos. And if things work out, maybe some Heath bars.
I might make some buffalo wings. That's a good party food. Maybe we'll pick a runner-up, too.
Yeah.
Give a secondary prize. Yeah, like a Zoom party with Toni Anita Hull.
That would be a second-degree prize. No, you know what it should be?
What?
The runner-up prize will be a Zoom party where the connection keeps dying.
Now that's a second-rate prize.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do
I'm
this.
so excited.
Well, you know what? Let's turn our attention to today's business, which is, as always, God damn it, I'm calling this meeting of the Paula Poundstone Book Club to order. Oh, yeah. Is there any old business before we proceed?
Yes, Adam. It's...
Oh, Senator Bernie Sanders, welcome.
Thank you very much. I have some old business to which to attend. Last week, Captain Crinkle, Bonnie Burns, said she could not read our book club's selection, Moby Dick, because she encountered a chapter that described very graphically the killing of a whale and the harvesting of the resources from that whale.
Yes.
Well, I would like to ask Captain Crinkle, Bonnie Burns, Paula Poundstone's longtime manager and producer of this very podcast, I would like to ask her in what universe she is living to have believed that she would not encounter descriptions of whale harpooning in the book Moby Dick. She could just look at the cover.
Wow, Senator Sanders, that's a... Captain Crinkle, you've been called up by Senator Bernie Sanders, so what do you got?
Unadulterated obstructionism. If I were to weigh in on the next selection, would I be allowed in this club, like Captain Crinkle, to say, I'm not going to read Call of the Wild because I don't like phone calls? Or could I refuse to read To Kill a Mockingbird because I have a dislike for dead birds? Could I shirk my responsibility to read The Godfather because I dislike Mitch McConnell? Or for that matter, would I not read For Whom the Bell Tolls because I deal with enough ding-dongs at work? I submit to you, Captain Crinkle, that the answer is no, I could not.
Well, I'd like to speak on Captain Crinkle's behalf because she's a little intimidated speaking to you, Senator Sanders.
Oh, no, it's Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Senator Klobuchar, I think that Captain Crinkle can speak for herself. She did not achieve the rank of captain by being a shrinking flower.
Okay, let me talk to her for a second. Let me ask her. I'll consult. Okay, hold on. All right.
Are you whispering on the podcast? That makes no sense.
Okay, Senator Sanders, I am a little intimidating talking to you. I have to say, I had a hard time focusing on everything you said. So what is it again? You're asking me? What was it? I couldn't. Was it okay not to read the book? Was that it?
Oh, no.
What was it?
I'm not asking, was it okay not to read the book? I'm saying, did you even look at the cover of Moby Dick? You would realize, of course, you would...
I'm going to go out and get a burger
No,
if
wait,
that's okay.
I got it. Did I know it was going to be about
continue.
harpooning whales and killing whales?
No, that was not my question. No, my question is, how could you not? Listen carefully. How could you not know that it was going to be... there's a picture of a whaler with a harpoon on the cover. How could you not know that Moby Dick was going to include some description of whales and whaling?
No, but I didn't know it was going to be so gross. Like, they'd cut off the head, they'd parade the head around, they were going to, take the forehead.
They did not parade the head around. What were you doing while you were reading? You were multitasking, were you not?
Senator Sanders, if I may, I'm going to have to take the side of, God help me, I'm going to have to take the side of Bonnie Burns, Captain Crinkle on this one, because I, too, did not realize that there would be so much gore and violence in the book. I mean, I knew there'd be some wailing, but hanging the heads from the sides of the boat, sawing through the heads to do that, that's not even a standard part of whaling. And in the chapters that we're about to discuss today, chapters 76 through 85, there's an incident where Tashtego falls into the bloody head of a decapitated whale and has to be rescued, pulled out in a act that is compared to birthing. It's disgusting.
Compass Head, I am aware of that chapter. What I am talking about right now is whaling. You know, if you're going to harpoon a whale, yes, there's going to be some whale carnage. Two wrong readers, Adam Felber, does not make a right.
I'm just gonna have to disagree with you, Senator Sanders. I mean, I said when we started reading the book that I was uncomfortable with the idea of that we're reading a book about whaling, and I hoped it didn't get too bad in there, and it does.
This is absurd. It's a book about the captain of a whaling ship and a white whale who bit off his leg and he has a vengeance towards. I don't see how you could not have known that there would be some gore.
Some, yes. I would say that it's excessive.
I agree with Adam. It's excessive. Today it occurred to me, there's a lot of symbolism in this book. There's got to be a reason that Melville picked so many chapters to do with this excessive descriptions of what they do in whaling to these whales. And
because most people don't know anything about whaling. He's creating a world.
Okay, but I think he was making the point about what man does to nature and who's really the beast.
Captain Crinkle, how has Paula Poundstone stood 26 years of this kind of lack of logic?
All right. Senator Sanders, I'm going to ask you to put this aside. You're out of order.
Psychology.
Senator Sanders.
Are you gaveling me?
I'm gaveling you. And if you don't respond to the gaveling, I will make a motion to censure you.
No, no. I move to censure Senator Sanders.
I second the motion.
Oh, you know what?
My God.
Toni Anita Hull has been censured so many times. Her name is now Toni Censured Hull. You lost your Anita.
She hasn't lost her Anita. Senator Sanders, there's been a motion to censure you, and it's been seconded, so we're going to have to take a vote. All in favor of censuring Senator Sanders. This is a big deal. Say aye.
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 There you go.
Nay.
Wow, you just...
Nay.
All right, so we have Senator Sanders accidentally just voted aye. So, Senator Sanders, you've been censured. By a vote of 3-2, or 3-1 with one abstention, you've been censured.
You're out of order.
Senator Sanders, please don't make me censure you again. I want to ask if there's anybody other than Senator Sanders that has any opinions about chapters 76 through 85 of Moby Dick.
I have something to say.
Okay. Go ahead and say it. I don't know how far you're going to get, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I have two things. So maybe I just say...
Reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time.
You don't have any time.
Well, then I'm reclaiming your time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, this was my favorite part. When Ishmael goes on this whole rant about, could a guy live in a whale's stomach, or would the gastric juices not permit a man to survive? I just thought at least... there was something entertaining about that. After all this stuff about, what was it about inside the whale's head was this great big, what was it, the white liquid that the guy drowned in, and then...
It was, what is it? Spermazoid or something, wasn't it?
Spermaceti, which they also just call sperm.
Spermaceti, 2 orders of spermaceti. So I kind of liked it when Tashtego fell into the sperm whale's head. I thought it was exciting. And Adam, answer the phone.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
This club is filling up. Hello?
Hey, Adam, it's just me, Mike Boom Boom Barnavit. Oh, man, I'm fucking loving this book, man. I'm just fucking loving this book.
Which
did
book?
Did you read the part about the organ of firmness?
The organ of firmness?
The organ of firmness? Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Organ of firmness. And a sperm whale, get it? Sperm whale and the organ of firmness.
I get that. I get that the word sperm is there.
It's a fucking great book.
Are you?
This is a man's book. You know, it's no wonder Toni Anita Hull doesn't like this book. This is a guy's book. A guy would get this book. Toni Anita Hull and Body Birds, they don't even understand this book. You know what I mean? Because they don't have an organ of firmness.
I think you're misunderstanding organ of firmness. I got to say, Paula Poundstone likes this book a whole lot more than I do.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know how you work with that bitch.
Hey, Mike.
She's just busting your balls
Mike,
all the time,
you're out of order.
She's always busting your balls. And, thank God you got an organ of firmness. All right, I got to go.
Okay. Bye, Mike.
It's good talking to you, Adam. Love you, man. Take care. Take care, man. We'll hang out after the game.
No, we won't. Well, that was interesting.
I think it's wonderful that, I understand that Mike doesn't like me, and that's fine. But I think it's wonderful that we've brought one more reader into reading Moby Dick. I think that's fantastic. And he picks up on a lot of the nuances in the book.
No, I don't think he's picking up on any nuances. He's just looking for things that sound dirty.
Yeah, those are the nuances. That's the symbolism that Bonnie refers to. There was a whole, I don't know if it was a whole chapter, but certainly paragraphs of Stubb telling fart jokes about the whale.
Yeah.
Not about Moby Dick, but about another whale. And I'm surprised Mike didn't mention that.
Before we close this book club, though, I have to turn to Toni Anita Hull, who possibly can't even speak at this point because, later in the show, we have this guest coming who Toni is a little swoony for. She's swoony for the swain. Toni watches Below Deck, so she wants to get off the Pequod and onto the Below Deck ship. But, Toni, did you read Moby Dick this week?
Oh, my gosh. First of all, I am sweating bullets. Like, I'm sweating profusely.
Really?
From nerves, yes. Anyway, so, I finished.
From nerves? Wait, you said you're sweating from nerves?
From nerves.
Oh, because we're going to talk to the guy from Deck Below?
Yes.
Well, Toni, I'll tell you, here's a little treat for you, Toni. I know that you might become a little tongue-tied and stuff, but Paula and I have decided, even though we're going to be talking about Career Corner and a life of a bosun, we're going to let you ask one Below Deck question. So think on that. You get one question to ask him.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I would like to state we never specified which version of Moby Dick we'd be reading. So I picked up a different copy this week. And it's called Little Master Melville, Moby Dick, an Ocean Primer. It's 22 pages it's a hard book and it's mainly pictures, but it's 22 pages describing the story of Moby Dick for toddlers.
For toddlers?
Toni, we specified it was Moby Dick by Herman Melville.
This is Little Master Melville. I can read it to you in about
Toni, I'm sorry,
60
but
seconds.
Motion to censure
Sailors.
Toni Anita Hull.
Ship. Gulls.
Sorry.
Anchor. Harpoons.
Chewed leg.
Toni, let's just assume you're censured until further notice.
I'll tell you though, Compass Head would censure kittens, for heaven's sakes. He's censure crazy. He just censure.
You deserved it, Senator Sanders, and you know it. All right. With all that, I am going to bring this week's meeting of the Paula Poundstone Podcast Book Club to a close. Now, next business, Paula.
I think that was a particularly good book club this week. I really do.
It was
I really
lively.
felt it was strong.
Yeah, we made headway. I think we made
sure
a lot
did.
of
I feel like
headway.
I'm learning a lot. I feel like I don't even need to read the book. You guys are bringing it to life for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we made a lot of whale head full of blood headway. Yeah. All right.
You got a word, Paula?
Adam, I do have a word. It's preponderance. It's a noun that means the quality or fact of being greater in number, quantity, or importance. Here, I'll use in the sentence. Putin attacks us with a preponderance of false information. Preponderance is another word that I've heard many times, but was never quite sure as to its definition. Let's put it right into the vocabulary song. This week's word is preponderance. It's a noun that means the quality or fact of being greater in number, quantity, or importance. Last week's word was pernicious. It's an adjective that means having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. I've been staring at Twitter all day. The week before that, the word was gluckschmerz. It's a noun that means being displeased by an event presumed to be desirable for someone else. How wonderful you received another trophy for your shelf. Going back before that, the word was inveigh. It's a verb that means speak or write about someone with great hostility. Sports fans do this when a player doesn't show agility. And not long ago we had Schadenfreude. 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 It's a noun that means pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune. I wouldn't mind if Mar-a-Lago was shut down through May or June. Let's never forget Gallimaufry, which I pronounced wrong until nobody James Hyder corrected me. It's a noun that means confused jumbler medley of things. Hodgepodge, who's podge, hodgepodge. Adam doesn't think my song is replicable, but I do.
Yeah, Paula.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh!
I do.
Oh, Paula,
Yeah.
you came so close right there. I think there was a slight flub on the last two notes. It was otherwise would have been your first flawless Glock performance.
Oh, no, I think it was flawless. It was flawless. I'll tell you what. I left it all on the treadmill tonight.
You sure did. I wouldn't be surprised if your hands are bleeding.
Yeah, I've got blisters on my fingers. Oh my gosh, that felt good. Just to get those words out there just feels good. And the other thing is, I forget the name of the listener that corrected me on Schadenfreude. Before I accidentally said Schadenfreude, but it's Schadenfreude.
Right.
It's a noun that means pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I should know that word.
Yeah. Coming up, Werner Herzog once said, every man should pull a boat over a mountain once in his life, which tells me he should really stick to directing. We'll talk to a bosun who understands that boats belong on water next on Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone.
When it comes to treating fine lines, dark spots, and other signs of aging, your unique skin deserves unique care. My skin is so entirely unique. I did used to have a spot near my hairline. It looked like Australia. And I've used agency's skin stuff. I believe that's the correct technical term. They sent me the stuff and instructions, and you know what? I didn't think that Australia was going to go away, but I have to tell you, it did.
Well, you know what? I got to say, if I could tell my past self anything from a skincare perspective, first and foremost, it would be riding that unicycle on a tightrope over a vat of acid is not a good idea.
Oh,
but anyway,
geez.
starting off with agency today is easy. You just upload photos of your skin and tell agency about yourself. Tell them what your problems are. Tell them whether you have the dark spots, whether you have the Australia, whether you have dry skin. Next, agency matches you with a licensed dermatology provider who creates a custom formula with research-backed ingredients just for you.
Do what I did and try out Agency, the personalized anti-aging skincare that evolves with you. Go to withagency.com/Paula for a free 30-day trial. Just pay $4.95 for shipping and handling. That's withagency.com/Paula to unlock your free 30-day trial. See withagency.com for all the details, subject to consultation.
If you're going to do it anyway, use our code.
You know, there's nothing wrong with giving yourself a Mother's Day present. We are the givers of unconditional support, encouragement, and inspiration. Gift yourself a lasting symbol of that love with Pandora jewelry.
I got to say, from my perspective, it's a great way to shop for gifts for Mother's Day because there's a ton of options. For instance, Jeannie really likes necklaces, and you can find so many cool, well-designed necklaces that feel really unique and not like just, it was the thing that was in the case at the time.
This season, Pandora has gifts for every mom with new designs in their collection of contemporary classics. Express a connection that's stronger than words with symbols of love and gratitude such as hearts, infinity symbols, angel wings, and family trees. Remind us how special mothers are.
Shop safely in store with Pandora's styling experts to find the perfect gift for any mom on your list. Buy online with in-store pickup and curbside pickup at select locations. Please contact your local store to learn more. Go to us.pandora.net/Paula to start shopping or find a store near you. That's us.pandora.net/Paula.
On this day in unremarkable history, Marcel Marceau said,
And we're back. So, Paula Poundstone, are you here with me?
I'm here.
Oh, excellent. Last week we did a career corner, you might remember, because this damn pandemic has kept you out of the theaters. Has anything changed in that past week?
Okay, I have some dates on the books, but that's not until June. So for now, no, I'm promoting my book, promoting stuff at the store at paulapoundstone.com, promoting my cameo appearances, all from this treadmill desk. It's getting a little claustrophobic, so I was thinking I could really use a change of scenery and maybe a career change as well. I find myself wondering if I could take to the seas. Could I make it as an important member of a ship's crew? Like, I don't know, maybe a bosun?
A bosun?
Yeah.
Well, it's uncanny, Paula, but we have a very special guest here who can help guide you on this voyage.
Well, that is voyant, Clara.
Yes, it's time for Career Corner, where we learn about the wide world of jobs. Would you like to be a fireman? How about a train engineer? Maybe you'd like to make a living as a spot welder. What can you do with your life? Career Corner has the answer. This week, let's explore a career as a bosun. Here to help Paula discover if she could cut it in the stressful, high-stakes world of bosuning is a man who worked his way from deckhand to bosun during seasons 1 through 3 of Bravo's Below Deck, took a break to work his way to first mate aboard a tugboat, earning his 1,600-ton license, and then returned for season 8. Hold on to your seat, Toni Anita Hull. Because we know listeners know that you're a giant fan of the show. It's Eddie Lucas.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Good. We're so glad you're here.
Eddie,
Thank
welcome.
you very much for joining us. Hey, Eddie, I think in order to answer the question, could I be successful and happy as a bosun, perhaps a good place to start is, what's a bosun?
What is a bosun? Boatswain. Either one works. It's a bosun is someone who is in charge of all deck operations aboard a vessel. So it could be a yacht, it could be a ship, it could be a boat, a tugboat, or any type really. So yeah, just deck operations. So in the yachting world, you're in charge of the cleaning and also all the toys that are on the yacht.
What do you mean all the toys?
Toys. Well, on yachts, we got lots of toys. So we got jet skis and sea bobs and massive 700-pound inflatable slides that have to go out. It's lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Wow, that does sound like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you, because we just finished our book club meeting, and God help us, this podcast is reading Moby Dick. How does a bosun compare to like a first mate or a second mate? It doesn't seem like there is one on board the Pequod.
Yeah, there would be maybe like there probably is a first mate or second mate, but in Moby Dick, it'd probably be called something different because we're talking, Her Majesty's ship or, it's Old English type of stuff. So you might have.
Well, there is a first mate, a second mate, and a third mate, but nobody referred to as a boatswain or a bosun in the book.
Yeah, there usually is one, but usually it probably kind of goes under the same idea as a second mate, maybe a second mate, a third mate, or a chief's mate. So they are there, but it's just a different name for them.
Okay, here's another Moby Dick related question. Has a whale eaten your leg off at any time in any of your adventures?
That's a really good question. And
I bet you get that a lot. To my best knowledge,
I do get that a lot. To my best knowledge, a whale has not eaten my leg off yet. But you never know what could happen. It could always happen.
The season's young. All right.
The season's young.
Eddie Lucas, how do I learn to be a bosun? Like, how did you learn?
Well, I mean, you have to work your way up. I mean, it's tough to just be hired directly in as a bosun if you've never worked on a boat before. So you got to work your way up. You got to climb the ranks. You got to climb the ladder. Get your way. You got to start off as deckhand or even what's called an AB, which is an abled seaman. And you just got to work your way up.
And what skills does a deckhand or an able seaman have?
You gotta follow directions well. You can't question the bosun. You can't say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." You gotta be a yes man, yes woman, and just do what's said. But you have to have the most important thing you got to have is a sense of urgency. You got to move quick, you got to move efficiently, and you got to get the job done as fast as you can, as efficiently as you can.
Oh, got ya. By the way, whenever we say able seaman, we should probably whisper or the phone will ring. What would you say is the hardest part of being a bosun? Is it dangerous? Like, what's the worst thing that's gone wrong in your experience?
I mean, being a bosun, it can be dangerous. You get beat up a little bit dealing with all the toys and dealing with all the, heavy machinery, anchor systems, windlasses, davits, all that you got to deal with.
Wait, what's a windlass? What's a davit?
A windlass is what we use to raise the chain up and down. It's a machinery that's very, very powerful electronic motor to help raise the chain for the anchor, lifts the anchor up.
Okay. And the davit, I assume, is a chunk of water that comes out of the ocean?
Nope, but close.
No, that's a divot.
That's a divot, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My mistake.
A davit is just a fancy word for a crane. A davit is a crane on a boat.
Oh, okay. I think it's funny that you said that you get beat up by the toys. So the inflatable slide is a big challenge?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty, I'm almost 36 right now, and I'm pretty sure I need full back surgery right now for all the times I've had to put the slide up and down. It is back-breaking work, and that's a really difficult part of it. But hopefully by the time you become a bosun, you have a very solid team that you can delegate to tell what to do and to get everything done. But that is where it comes into the most difficult part of being a bosun, which is dealing with incompetent crew or dealing with issues with crew, telling them what to do, and them also then being insubordinate. And unfortunately, we can't keel haul people anymore. We can't stick them in the bilge and make them drink it. We don't have corporal punishment anymore. So it's really difficult sometimes to motivate people. We can't break out the cat and nine tails anymore. And so now that's a much more difficult thing to deal with.
There's no lash.
Lashings.
You can't have the lash.
You can't.
They can't taste the lash. So you have to then have good people skills.
You have to have good people skills. You need to be good managerial, and you got to be really sensitive of people's feelings. And I'm never really good about that. I've never been really good at it, but you got to be this day and age. You got to be gentle with people, and it's tough in this world.
You got to be gentle, but they have to follow rules, right? Like, for instance, we're trying to run the ship that is this podcast. So just your opinion, Eddie. If we're on a podcast where there was a book club that was reading a book like Moby Dick, would you say that was kind of the obligation of every able seaman aboard the podcast to actually read the chapters?
Yes, that would be part of the responsibilities of an AB, of a deckhand. They got to read it.
I want to introduce you to one of our producers who's a huge fan of Below Deck, by the way, but not a huge fan of reading Moby Dick. It's Toni Anita Hull. Want to say hello to Eddie, Toni?
Hi, Eddie.
Hey, Toni, how you doing? What's the deal here? Not reading the book?
There are no women
read
in the
book.
There are no women in the book at all.
Well, when Moby Dick was written, women were bad luck on a boat. So you got to understand the timing, the culture that is surrounding the ship at the time.
I didn't know that.
I decided to read Ahab's Wife, which is a book about Ahab's wife.
But that's the different book.
Yeah, it's a different book.
Still a different book.
I made
You're on like a different ship here.
I'm trailblazing.
Okay, yeah, well that's good. But if you got a job to do on one ship and then you jump ship and get another one, that's treasonous during the time of Moby Dick. And again, you would be lashed severely.
Could we put her off in like a dinghy or something for this?
You could, or you could threaten her with my favorite saying on a ship, which is the beatings will continue until morale improves.
That is a good one.
By the way, given that you don't have the tool, the motivational tool of keel hauling or kissing the gunner's daughter.
Yes, right.
What do you do? Can you tell us an experience where you had an able-bodied seaman that didn't follow orders, and how did you handle it?
Well, I mean, I've definitely had some deckhands and ABs that are not great at following orders, but the worst of them are the ones who lie about their experience. They lie on their CVs, they lie on their resumes. They say, "Oh, I know how to do all this, all that," and then you expect them to be doing it, and they have no idea what they're doing. And you do what you can for them. You try teaching them, but if they don't pick it up right off the bat, then you do the next best thing, which you just fire them. You just get them off. You see ya. Can't use you. Put them on the dock. Send them packing. That's all you got to do.
So what if you're out in the ship? What if you're on the cruise? Do you like have them helicoptered off, or do you set them adrift like in the Bounty?
Yeah, I mean, you could do the old like Inuit thing and put them on a glacier on an ice floe and then send them off into the ocean. But again,
that's also the Frankenstein
thing. Here we are dealing with human rights and things like that, and it's a delicate situation, I know. And so usually we just wait until the charter is over and then fire them.
Right. Yeah.
Now, do you have any aspirations to say move to a cruise ship? Like, does the cruise ship world interest you, or do you like the littler boats?
I like the little boats. Cruise ship world is a different animal. I mean, we're all talking the same species here, but then we're talking about different animals in these species. So it's like you got cruise ships, and you have large, massive crews, and the work is easier because many hands make lighter work. But at the same time, then you're going to be taking a big cut in pay. Working on yachts, working on a charter yacht, you're making a lot of money, but you're working for that money big time. There is maritime laws saying, oh, you need to have 12 hours of sleep a night, or you only work 12 hours and you have to have an 8 hour break for sleep and everything like that. But on yachts, sometimes that's a gray area, and there's a lot of times I've only gotten 2-3 hours of sleep or less a night, and then you have to get right back up and continue working throughout an 18-hour day, 19-hour day.
Wow. So wait, when you say people lie on their resumes sometimes, so have you ever had like a crew member where they said that they knew all sorts of ship skills and nautical stuff, and you told them to like tie off with some sort of a knot, and then you went over and they were just doing like a bow or something?
Oh yeah. No, yes. I had one guy who he lied on his resume, said he had all this experience on boats, and we went on this first charter, and I kind of was noticing that he didn't know how to do certain things. But then when we were coming back into dock, we were tying up, and I was telling him, okay, go ahead and lock off the forward spring line. And he was just holding it, staring at me, going, I don't know what to do. And that was really dangerous. I mean, really, really dangerous. Because we're dealing with, we're not just dealing with pounds of pressure here. We're dealing with tons of pressure. And if he did something wrong, or if he, got his hand caught in a line while it was coming tight, you could rip a hand off, rip a leg off. If he locked it off when I told him not to, and the line parted, which broke, it snapped, that line can snap back and break, cut.
Ooh. It
can maim you severely. And so, that's where it's like, okay, so you lying is just putting everyone, yourself and other people in danger. And that's not okay.
isn't there a thing on the application where it says, under penalty of law, are you signed to say that you're telling the truth?
I'm sure there is something along those lines, but at the same time, it's like, what are people really going to do? What, are you going to get sued? I mean, you can't.
People want jobs.
Yeah, people want jobs. And if they lie, then the worst thing really is going to happen is they're just going to get fired. And honestly, I don't have a problem with someone coming in being like, I don't know how to do this. I'll teach you. It's not rocket science. It's just line handling. But, if you tell me you know how to do something and they lie about it, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
Then you got a sitch on your hands. You got a sitch.
Then you got a big time sitch.
That's what they call it on the boat.
Yeah,
it's a sitch.
It's a nautical term.
Yeah, sitches get stitches. Yeah.
Stitches get stitches. The Scottish author Kenneth Grahame wrote, "There is nothing, absolutely nothing, half so much worth doing as messing about in boats." Really? Have you tried podcasting? We'll help Paula get her sea legs when we come back. The cat of the week is Mr. Totes from Sherman Oaks. Congratulations, Totes. We knew you had it in you.
Tony.
People, Everlane is not like most clothing brands. And not just because they bypass traditional retail markups. They partner with the world's most ethical factories to make quality clothing with radically transparent pricing. Sustainability is literally woven into every piece of the fabric Everlane uses, from natural fibers to recycled synthetics.
I love that. And you know what? I like a plain T-shirt. I hate the idea of wearing a billboard. I love a nice, simple, plain, solid color T-shirt. And the idea that it's organic cotton, I don't have to feel guilty. Go to everlane.com/Paula and sign up for 10% off your first order, plus free shipping, and get easy returns within 60 days of your ship date.
That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/Paula, Paula, and sign up.
If you're going to do it anyways, use our code.
And we're back with Eddie Lucas. Eddie, this is a lot of fun.
Eddie, I have something awful to confess to you.
Please confess it.
Well, for a while, I was accidentally calling the show Deck Below.
That's honestly not that bad. I've heard way worse things, about below deck and belowing and wonderful things like that. There's so many little things. So honestly, deck below or whatever.
I think I come to it honestly because my mother used to enjoy the films of East Clintwood.
Yes. East Clintwood, fantastic
what an actor,
director and actor.
Good director too.
All right, so is it a crowded field, Eddie? Will I have a hard time getting hired? Like say for example, I'm willing to start at the bottom. And I am.
Yeah, well, you have to be.
I love physical labor, but is it a crowded field? I mean, do a lot of people apply?
Well, it is now. Because of the show that I'm on, it has become very, very popular. And a lot of people are trying to get into the industry. And, it's a really tough industry to get into. And there's industries, there's companies out there that like Blue Water Yacht. Hannah Ferrier has a company now also who's on Below Deck Med about helping people get into the industry. But it is difficult. It's very difficult. And yeah.
But once Paula gets a toehold and she becomes a lowly hand,
deckhand,
right?
Junior deckhand. Yep.
What does she have to do to move up the ranks? Does she have to find ways to mysteriously, push the other people overboard at night? Or what does she have to do?
There is some backstabbery that definitely happens. I mean, there is.
Is there?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, there's always backstabbery that can happen. And but really, it's just showing initiative. If you've got the drive, if you've got the motivation, if you get your job done and then help other people get other jobs done, and you do it in a way that the captain notices, you got to kind of put a show on. There's definitely a bit of showmanship that goes in this. You have to, walk the walk and talk the talk and get that all done. But, there is a very shallow part of this industry. And part of it is, getting a job is that when you put your CV out there, you have to have a headshot on this job. And it really doesn't matter your education. Oh yeah, you got to have a headshot. You don't hire Quasimodo to become a deckhand because you have
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what kind. I mean, you've got these incredibly rich clients.
Yes.
And they want their experience to be just so, and I guess they want you to be just so. So what are you looking for when you're hiring, when you're interviewing Paula Poundstone? What are you looking at superficially that she has to be able to do?
Well, Paula is just a shoo-in right off the bat. Gorgeous, coming right in, great hair, love it, curls, fantastic.
Thank you,
Right
Eddie.
in the door. So really, you're looking for someone who's aesthetically pleasing. Honestly, their education, where they went to college, their GPA does not matter whatsoever. Does not matter if you're in a book club reading Moby Dick right now. Doesn't matter. What matters is the certifications you have. You gotta, if you're working interior, you need to have the silver service certification. You need to be provide white glove service. If you're exterior, you gotta be good looking, you got to be strong, you got to be able to, have that $1 million smile, because these guests, they're paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars for this week-long vacation, and they want to be around beautiful people as well.
Do you share a room down there? Is it you share a room with somebody?
Yeah, you do. Usually you're, unless you're the captain really, but even sometimes the captain on smaller vessels, they still share with other crew. But you are always, as a bosun, as a deckhand, chief stew, you're always with someone else in the room. Yeah, always.
So it's just one other person, or is it like the Three Stooges, like the three bunks?
It varies from boat to boat. Sometimes you can have 3 to 4 people in a room. Most of the time on the boats, all the yachts that I've worked on, it's just 2 bunks in a room. So you just got one other roommate you're living with.
Well, you seem like a real people person. Do you have a technique that you use for getting on with other people? What kind of issues have come up when there is friction, and how have you handled it?
I mean, you try to, you give everyone the benefit of the doubt the first off the bat. But, if someone does something wrong, if there's friction that's starting to be created, you guys got to approach them in the most respectful way possible and kind of lay out there like, hey, this is what isn't working, and let's do this to make it work better. And if you give them that first warning shot, and then after that warning shot, if they continue to do it, then you start hacking. But
then it's overboard in the middle of the night. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of person would you say does best in this job of bosun? Say, for example, I had worked my way up.
So if you work your way up and you get a position as a bosun, someone who is very well at managing crew and dealing with a list and high attention to detail, so that they can see everything that needs to happen, see what needs to be cleaned, understand what the guests are looking for, and then plan accordingly and plan ahead of time as much as you possibly can, so that things go smoothly, because things can go south very, very quickly. And, you don't want to sink that ship, and metaphorically, as soon as the charter starts.
Now, is moving the inflatable slide, I'm very interested in the inflatable slide. First of all, when you blow it up, how many puffs does it take?
Well, that's a very good question. It's not a Tootsie Roll or Tootsie Pop, so it does not take 3. We have to use multiple 5 horsepower electronic air blowers, air pumps.
The kind of stuff that you might find for a bouncy house.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Something similar to that, but they're even higher torque, because you have to have a certain PSI level for the inflatable slide. So that way, if someone jumps on it, doesn't cave in under you and you drown in a sea of vinyl.
What is PSI?
Yeah, it's a bad way to go.
It'd be a bad way to go. It'd be and look really bad.
What's PSI?
Pounds per square inch. So you have to get the air level inside the slide up to a certain PSI level.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Just like on the tires on your car, Paula.
Exactly.
Or your bike.
Yep.
Was I supposed to fill those?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So say I have worked my way up, right?
Yep.
And now I go to fill out an application, or I go to interview. What's the best way I can present myself?
The best way you present yourself is showing exactly the experience that you have and what you have created, and then the accomplishments maybe that you have gotten along the way. And those accomplishments are sea time and certification. So as you spend time as a deckhand and moving up as to a bosun, you are acquiring sea time. You can then use that sea time to upgrade your license. And that is the best illustration of your experience and your abilities as a seaman, as a sailor. And so, once you get to a bosun, you may have a 100-ton license. So you may have an OUPV, or maybe even more.
What's an OUPV? It sounds gynecological. What's an OUPV?
OUPV is an occupational uninspected personal vessel license. So it's a smaller license that you need to pilot a vessel that is below 60 feet in length, and it is uninspected by the Coast Guard. So it's a smaller license, but that's one of the first stepping stones you would be getting as a sailor is an OUPV license, and then you move up to maybe a 50-ton or a 100-ton, and then you keep going up there, 500, 1600.
You're at 1,600 tons with your tugboat stuff.
Yeah, I'm a 1,600-ton right now. Yep.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Now, Paula, what tonnage are you at, Paula?
So when I was a kid, we had a creek behind our house, and I had one of those yellow rubberized canvas rafts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was pretty good with that, if I do say so myself. So
wow.
I don't know what kind of tonnage that is, but
I think that qualifies you for an IUD, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm writing that down. Okay, Eddie.
Whatever.
Did your yellow vessel, does it have a name? Did it have a name to your little yellow submarine?
No, but I'm happy to name it now if I need to.
Well, if you can name it, then you can put in a sea service form for it, and you could probably get a small license.
No.
Yes.
That would be great.
So you got to do that, Paula.
I remember all those lazy afternoons on the Eddie.
There you go. Rocky vessel, that one is. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I loved it on the Eddie. Eddie, I have to ask you one more thing, which is these rich people that you're working with, what are their expectations? And have they ever had demands that were, what are the sort of most outrageous demands that have been put upon you in your bosun capacity?
I mean, they are demanding the world and more. I mean, they really want everything just right, just perfect. They want Michelin star food. They want everything to be catered to them perfectly, food catered to them perfectly, toys ready as soon as they want to go out, slide inflated, jet skis out. They want everything. They want everything before they have to ask for it. And then they also want you as well. They want your soul. And I've had
really?
Oh yeah. I've had guests ask me, can you please put on this banana hammock and then serenade the primary charter guests and then let us take body shots off you.
What's a body shot?
Oh, a body shot is when you put a lime in your mouth and then salt on your nipples and then you fill your belly button with tequila. And so they lick the salt off your nipple, they suck the tequila out of your belly button, then they eat the lime out of your mouth. And it's
at my house we call that Thursday.
Yeah, or Monday.
Oh my gosh.
And any day of the week, really. But being a bosun, this is the best thing. Being a bosun, you can easily delegate that job off to a lower hand. You easily just say, "Oh, deckhand, you can do this." But I try to be fair, and I always ask the deckhand, "Do you feel comfortable doing this?" And that's really important to do this.
Paula, do you feel comfortable doing it?
No, I'll tell you something. If a rich guest asked me any such thing, or even asked me to get another person to do any such thing, I could never speak to them or look at them again. That's repulsive. No, that is gross.
This might be a little bit of a hurdle for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll put lime on my nipples, salt in my navel, and the tequila in my mouth. How about that?
That'll work. That'll help loosen you up first.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now here's something I need to do right now, which is we promised our producer, Toni Anita Hull, who is such a big fan of your show that she has mentioned it on this show several times.
Multiple times. She brought up Deck Below.
But we have told her that even though we were here for our Career Corner segment, that we were going to let her step forward, if she can, trembling, and ask you a question about Below Deck. So, Toni?
Oh, thanks, y'all. Okay, tell me everything about Captain Lee. Is he just the best? That's all. I just want to hear about Captain.
Captain Lee is great. I'm honored to be able to call him a friend now. He's been such a mentor in my life and helped. I mean, he's the one who really helped teach me how to become a good bosun and now a first officer. So it's great. It's been great working with him, and he's wild and eccentric and a little crazy, but everyone's a little crazy to get into yachting. You got to be crazy. That's why Paula would do so well at it.
And she's a little crazy. Yeah. Now, tell Toni something about the captain that she might not see on the show. Give her a detail about his life that she might not know.
Captain Lee used to be a what's the word? A high altitude welder.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, before he was a captain, he was a welder, and he would do like way high welding on water towers and things like that at very at height. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's a bit of a daredevil.
He is. Yeah, I think he's definitely an adrenaline junkie. He's always loved risky jobs, I think.
I think we have the same qualities in our Captain Crinkle.
Yes. Our producer, Bonnie Burns, Captain Crinkle, is a bit of a daredevil. She's not a high altitude welder, but there is some high attitude at times. Well, Eddie, that was excellent. And now we're going to take the information that you gave us and run it through the old Poundstonator. Paula?
House band Gabe Terracciano. If I could have a little bit of background music, I'll tell you what the old Poundstonator spit out. Priscilla. I am simply adoring these whale blubber sandwiches. Aren't you, Gregson? Gregson. Delicious like you, babe. Priscilla. You know what would be fun? Let's go up in the very tip of the boat and see if we can see whales while we eat them. Oh, Bosun Paula. Gregson and I want to eat on the tippy tip of the boat. Could you help us up there? Paula. The crew is busy setting up the slide right now. Priscilla. Oh, we can't wait. Paula. Of course. I'll just move the table and you folks come right this way. There you go. How's that? Priscilla. We don't see any whales. It's so disappointing. Oh, maybe we could see sharks. That would be so exciting. Wouldn't that be exciting, Gregson? It would be wildly exciting, like you, babe. Priscilla. Bosun Paula, could you jump in the water and flap around? It might attract some sharks. Paula, the crew is Priscilla, but we can't wait. Paula, of course. Priscilla, I don't see any sharks. Here, Bosun Paula, catch this knife. Cut yourself. They might come for the blood. Paula, of course. Priscilla, I still don't see any. Could you cut a major artery? Paula, of course. Priscilla, oh, there they are. Look, Gregson, they're just ravenous. Gregson, like I'm ravenous for you, babe. Priscilla, Bosun Paula? Bosun Paula? Bosun Paula?
So, Paula, now that you've learned about what it takes to be a bosun, could you do that job?
Poundstone pussy pillows are 4.5 inch by 5 inch pillows stuffed with catnip. They feature a grommet up top so you can tie a string to it and engage your cat by tugging it along. There's a cat joke printed on one side, and on the other side, I am happy to autograph it to your cat. They're at the store at paulapoundstone.com.
He's America's favorite bosun from Bravo's Below Deck. Thank you so much, Eddie Lucas, for coming on our show.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. That was fun. Thank you.
Eddie, this was so much fun. Thank you very, very much.
Coming up next, we all have something to bring to the table, and tonight's menu calls for fresh, hot factoids. It's our Potluck Info Party when we return.
is it possible that there is something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? Geez, what could it be? This is a very difficult time. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours.
It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online. BetterHelp offers a broad range of expertise which may not be locally available in many areas.
And you know what's great? You can log in to your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever, this is my favorite part, you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need to. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and also financial aid's available.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. You deserve happiness. Visit BetterHelp.com/Paula. That's better, HELP, and join the over 1 million people who've taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Yes, even South Dakota. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Paula. Paula, I'm like a lot of people. I intend to enjoy this summer in ways that I haven't enjoyed summers for a while. I'm going places out in the warmer weather. And whether it's for work or play, a lot of us are going to be doing that. So my advice is take your Raycons with you.
Oh, gotta take your Raycons. What, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's whether you're catching up on your podcasts or just listening to that music you love, those summer tunes. Those tunes of the summer. A pair of Raycons wireless earbuds in your ears can make all the difference. You get the crisp, powerful beats at half the price of other premium audio brands. They look great and they feel unbelievable.
Oh, man, there's nothing worse than paying twice the price for the powerful beats.
Well, these are half the price, and they come in a range of cool colors and with a customizable gel tips included for a comfortable in-ear fit, unless you're Captain Crinkle, because those gel tips are just going to stay in those ears forever. And Raycons are built to go wherever you go with quick and seamless Bluetooth pairing and a complete charging case. And I love the charging case. You know, you put them away, and they're charging in there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, listen up, everybody. Raycons are offering 15% off their products for my listeners and Paula's listeners. And here's what you got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/Paula. There you'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order. And it's such a good deal, you're going to want to grab a pair and a spare. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Paula. buyraycon.com/Paula.
Hey, if you're going to try it anyways, use our code.
Fun fact, the dot over a small letter J or I is in fact known as a tittle, which always gets a big laugh at the font conventions. And we're back. Hey, Paula Poundstone, are you ready for some fun?
Oh, you know what? I'm ready for more fun. I just had a lot of fun, though, I got to say.
With Eddie Lucas? That guy
I
that
did
guy's
have
fantastic.
fun with Eddie Lucas.
Well, now it is time to move on to our second ever Potluck Info Party.
It's a potluck info party. It's a potluck info party. And guess what, Adam?
What?
That was a theme song that I came up with last time, but I have a new theme song for us this time.
Oh, that was the old theme song?
By the way,
Yeah.
it did sound familiar, but I think the whole point of a theme song is that it's the same each time, so that
Yeah.
it kind of tells the person what they're. But go ahead, maybe we'll like the new one.
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
I was, the last time I just came up with that off the top of my head, so I thought I'd try something new this time.
Wait a minute, you came up with that off? you came up with that off the top of your head? Oh my gosh!
Want to hear the new one?
Yeah.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
That's it.
Oh, so you didn't write or sing the
What and what song was that?
theme song?
I don't know. What's on your mind?
By who?
Yeah.
It sounded like Duran Duran, to be honest with you. It took me
No,
back.
it was pure energy.
Okay.
Oh.
It doesn't sound like you guys were impressed.
I like yours much better.
Listen, I'm so excited about the Potluck Info Party. I brought a little something.
You did? Why don't you kick us off then,
I
Paula?
did.
What's your info that you're bringing to the table?
George Harrison remortgaged his house in order to help finance the movie The Life of Brian by Monty Python because the movie company that was going to make it pulled out at the last minute.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
That is so cool.
The thing about that fact that kind of surprises me is Life of Brian was made in something like 1976 or something, right? Or maybe 78.
79, I believe.
Why did George Harrison have to mortgage a house when he had all that Beatles money?
I don't know. That's for another info party, I guess. I just brought you
Yeah, we're
that
gonna have
one
to find
fact. I'm not a font of George Harrison information. I just brought you that one fact. You didn't tell me that we were going into the info party storm cellar and we had to bring enough information to survive for months and months down there. I thought it was just one
not
evening
months and
where
months, but
where each brought enough that we could use somebody else's and share and have a full meal. I had no idea that I had to inform people over and over again for a long period of time. George Harrison remortgaged his house in order to pay for Life of Brian. Beat that, Adam Felber.
Wow. I'm gonna pass it around first. I'm sorry that I made it seem like I wanted more information than you were willing to bring, Paula. That's just my faux pas.
I was willing to bring more. It just didn't say it on the invitation.
Well, is that enough for everyone, or are we still hungry? We're definitely still hungry. Let's go to Toni Anita Hull.
Yes. So, since I did a lot of this today, I thought I'd bring this fact. Turkeys can blush. When turkeys are scared or excited, like when females see a male they're interested in, the pale skin on their head and neck turns bright red, blue, or white. The flap of skin over their beaks, called a snood, also reddens.
Wow.
A snood. I heard about a snood once, and I completely forgot the word. That would be a good vocabulary word. Now, in what situations do turkeys blush? Do they blush when they're embarrassed?
Okay, you know what? You were the king of this. Like, you have asked follow-up questions that none of us know the fucking answers to.
Well, plus she just said when they blush. They blush
when they're scared or excited.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there might be other situations, like if you embarrass a turkey.
Maybe that can be your fact.
I just
Apparently.
Bored or excited, what else is there?
George Harrison was almost broke when he remortgaged his home because he had spent a tremendous amount of money researching turkey embarrassment.
I've always wondered if turkeys have any shame whatsoever. Anyway, all right, Bonnie, but thank you. That was delicious, Toni. Bonnie Burns. I promise I will. I can't promise I won't ask you a follow-up question. But what have you brought?
Okay, well, what I brought was, say you're traveling at a high velocity because you're going to use your car to, like, ram into a building or, like, go off a pier to go into the water or, like, jump over a bunch of cars.
I think we've all been in that situation. Yeah,
sure, like you do.
So you should draw a line on the road. You could call it the point of no return. And that's the point at which, even if you apply your brakes, you have to stop before you get to that line. Or you're going forward, baby.
All right, so if you're going to kill yourself because you're so overwrought that you're going to drive off a cliff, then before you do that, you need to calculate when is the point of no return, and then get out of the vehicle and make a line. This is so helpful.
It is. It's really helpful. I mean,
I would
think
say,
if only Thelma and Louise had stopped their car, gotten out,
Right.
got out their calculator, did some quick mathematics, told the sheriffs and the police department to wait, figured it out, measured a distance from the cliff, drew the line, backed up, told the sheriff's department it was okay to resume the chase, and drove forward at speed. They'd be alive today.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Brad Pitt might not have married Angelina Jolie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't do that set off a chain of events that almost ruined George Harrison.
George Harrison, yes. May he rest in peace. He was already dead. But,
And I guess, if you think about it on foot, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, there was probably a line that if you didn't pass, there was a point at which if they went over it, then they had to go over that cliff and jump.
I think that when you're running, the line isn't as important.
yeah, the point of no
I don't know.
The point of no return is when you jump off the cliff. That's the point of no return. Now, Bonnie, I want to say that I really appreciate this piece of trivia because I think I know where it comes from. Because didn't you work on a stuntman-based show on television at one point?
I did. We sent a guy off the rim of the Grand Canyon. And
Only because they didn't draw the line.
They did draw the line.
We did draw a line. But this was the other tip I was going to give you if anybody's thinking about, having to do something where they want to propel themselves out a far distance. In the case of the Grand Canyon, there's like a shelf around it on the inside of the Grand Canyon. So you need this extra acceleration. So when you're going down the runway, you also build yourself this extra ramp that has like that curlicue thing like they have in the, those little tiny race cars that kids play with, Adam. What are they called?
Oh, Hot Wheels.
Yeah, you need a ramp like that because when you come down the curlicue part, that gives you the extra propulsion, and then you go out over the rim of the Grand Canyon.
Let me understand. So if I'm riding in a Hot Wheels car,
Okay.
Wheels car.
I'll tell you, for one thing, my knees are in my mouth if I'm riding in a Hot Wheels car.
And I don't understand the curlicue component. Are you talking about a loop, Bonnie?
It's the loop-de-loop, that loop-de-loop they do. When you,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it is called a loop.
Now, Bonnie, what you've done here is you've essentially broken down an anecdote and turned it into a bunch of info party.
Okay,
stuff.
I might
Still
have.
information. Hey, she brought.
It's still information.
Basically,
Absolutely.
I feel like she brought the entree to the to the Potluck Info Party.
did.
Thank you, Bunny. It's
I really
fascinating.
do feel like that was an
Line
entree,
of
yes.
No return is interesting.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
It definitely is. That was an entree. I'll just serve up a little dessert. Yes, Paula?
Well, I was just thinking, there's a similar thing in skydiving, which is as you're going up in the plane,
Yeah.
you reach out the window and spray in the air a blue line.
Yep.
And as you're free falling, if you go past that line, you are fucked. Similarity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar. All right, here's my info. And it's just a word. It's a simple word. And it's something that I'm very into these days. Graphene. Does anybody know what graphene is, class?
Graphene?
No.
It's like graphite. It's carbon. It's just carbon, folks. But why is Adam into it? Well, the two scientists who invented graphene actually got the Nobel Prize for Physics in 2010. And the reason it's so interesting is it's a substance that's one molecule thick. If you had a sheet of graphene, it's literally the thinnest thing in the world that you could ever have.
Whoa.
One molecule of carbon thick. And it's arranged in a honeycomb shape, so it's really strong. And it conducts electricity really well. And our entire future is going to be graphene related. They'll probably figure out a way to stop making solar panels out of silicon because a graphene solar panel would be about 30% more power efficient, which is amazing. Here's the coolest thing about it. Here's my info party fun fact. Basically, the way that you can discover and manufacture graphene, you take a pencil, essentially, and put a piece of Scotch tape on it. And when you peel away the Scotch tape, the carbon from the graphite on that Scotch tape is graphene, or more or less graphene.
Well, what's the difference between graphite and graphene? Just the thickness of it?
Well, that's the thing is carbon is so weird. The way the molecules are put together can do all kinds of things. Like, it can be coal, it can be diamonds, it can be graphite, it can be charcoal. That stuff is all just made of carbon. It could be a buckyball, one of those giant megamolecules. And graphene happens to be an arrangement that was recently discovered where it's one molecule thick in a honeycomb pattern.
Well, wait a minute. You say it was recently discovered. I put a piece of Scotch tape on a pencil and pulled it off years ago.
Yeah, but you didn't make a solar panel out of it, did you?
No. So listen. So here's my question. Where's my fucking prize? Where's my goddamn prize? What'd they get? The Pulitzer Prize? What'd they get?
No, there's no Pulitzer Prize for science. They got a Nobel. I believe that they got a Nobel Prize. I think it was in physics.
I didn't get a Nobel Prize. I just got no bells.
You got no bells for that. Well,
I haven't got one goddamn bell.
If any of our listeners know the Nobel Committee, please write a strongly worded letter on Paula's behalf. Because
if you would, please.
If she put tape on a pencil, then she deserves that prize.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I thought everybody did that in about the second grade. Yeah, but I got no bells. Not one goddamn bell. Wow. Well, that is fascinating, Adam.
Yeah, it might be.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah? I hope I represented it right.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I just did it.
Well, you just did what?
I just put tape on my pencil and then pulled it off.
And what's on the tape?
Tony, do you want to say your address over the microphone so that the Nobel people know where to send your prize?
It might be a little more complicated than that, but okay.
No, I don't think so.
Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, Sherman
send it
Oaks.
to Sherman
Tony,
All right. Sherman Oaks, everybody.
Tony Centure Hull over in Sherman Oaks. Go ahead. That's probably all you got to put on the envelope. People know her. They'll know where to find her.
Send your Nobel medals and your spare bosuns over to Sherman Oaks.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Hey, nobodies, if you have questions or comments or some fun facts or you just want to bitch about how we run our book club, send that to nobodylistens-to-Paula@gmail.com. Paula, what else is going on in your Poundstone product empire this week?
Well, Adam, Poundstone Industries, also known as Lipstick Nancy Incorporated, is humming along like a band of kazoos. It's going to be a hot summer, and our listeners want to look the other kind of hot, like hot. So, my remarkably soft tri-polyblend t-shirts in both baseball and standard style are available at paulapoundstone.com. Or listeners can go to cameo.com/PaulaP33 and order a custom-made video message. Mother's Day is coming up, and what kind of a mother wouldn't love a video message from you delivered by me? That's cameo.com/PaulaP33. I would tell you more, but we have a listener named Heidi who has told us she doesn't like the merchandise promotions.
Subscribe to this podcast. It's free. You'll get it every week at no charge. If there's a subject or topic you'd like to know about, once again, that's nobodylistens-to-Paula@gmail.com. And that, ladies and gents, is our show. Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone is hosted by Paula Poundstone and yours truly, Adam DeFelber. Special thanks to our guest, Eddie Lucas.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
And thanks to our house band, Gabe Terracciano. You can find his music at GabeTerracciano.com. Our show is produced by Paula Poundstone, Adam Felber, Bonnie Burns, Ken Lezebnik, and Toni Anita Hull. Intern is Carly Patron. Starburns production by Land Romo and Sam Dunwald. Transcription services for the show provided by Transcribe Me, a premier internationally used transcription service. Use code Paula Poundstone when placing your order at transcribeme.com to receive an expedited service.
That's our show for tonight. Won't somebody please listen to me? You know what?
What's that?
I just made graffiti. I just made graffiti again.
Graffiti?
Graffiti.
Graffiti?
Graffiti. I just put a piece of tape on a pencil and pulled it off.
Graphene.
That's what I made. I made graphene.
It's not really a usable form when you do that. You probably have a couple of molecules.
Yeah, I do. I have a couple.
Bit of graphene
I don't even know how I'm
tape.
going to put all these molecules. I just made it again. And I just did it again. I did it again.
Do you see a microscopic honeycomb pattern of carbon on your tape?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I just did it again.
You're not getting Nobel Prizes for every time you do that, Paula.
I just want
done.
one.
It's over.
I just want one Nobel Prize. I don't want Nobel Prizes. That's ridiculous. I just did it again.
Well, why do you
The
keep doing
guys
it?
that got the Nobel Prize, how many did they do? I just did it.
I don't think you can get the prize from them by just doing it a lot.
No, I don't want it from them. They can keep their silly prize. I just did it again. I just did it again. Did it. Did it again. Did it again. Did it again. Wait, I just ran out of tape. I got to get more tape. Hold on.
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.